Your election count, was it 5 Democrats and 11 Republicans?
That is incorrect. It was 150 to 0. And in order of the math, you're going to talk about the first 80 or so who did support me. It was 11 Republicans who took a stand after the election where we almost lost our majority, who said we need to go in a different direction in leadership. The Democrats supported a new speaker. They didn't care who it was. Then everybody else came along. But I also will tell you that I was very respectful of the pledges that were made to my predecessor by Republicans. And when someone would tell me that I've pledged to your predecessor, and I'm going to honor that pledge until he releases me, I said, I respect that very much. So the order that we got to 150 is a little more sophisticated than in some of these emails that go around. And I'm very pleased also to tell you that the way I work is very much like the man I learned politics from a distance. There was Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill agreed on very little, but they drank beer after hours, and they were friends. And I have no problem working with Democrats or anyone who's elected by their districts to the State House of Representatives. As the Speaker, I have that responsibility to work with all 150, because every district is free to send their own representative. I'm delighted we have 101 Republicans. Look forward. It will be a different House, and it will be a House again. I believe Bill over here will be very pleased with the work product we produce. But my basic approach to administration of the House is to reach out to every member on every issue and not tell them how to vote, but tell them how to help encourage them to work together. And with 101 Republicans, there is really nothing with this to be worried about.
I guess the second part of that, thank you for addressing that. I still, and then as far as appointing Democrats to heads of committees, I mean, are you disputing that 14 Democrats were the heads of committees?
Not at all. But you're forgetting there were 18 Republicans. And the committees the Republicans headed were appropriations, state affairs, the committee calendars, the committees that are the most sought after. But the House was almost evenly divided.
Are you going to appoint more Democrats for heads of committees this time?
I don't know yet what I'm going to do on committees. And it would be illegal for me to make commitments to you or to the members about who's going to be where in committees. But I will tell you that the precedent of the House, whether it be under Republican leadership or Democratic leadership, is to have committee chairmen of both parties. I do not want the Texas House of Representatives to be a mirror image of the United States Congress. That is categorically 100% false. I raised and spent $2 million, every cent of it, to Republican candidates, Republican Party organizations, Republican women's clubs, and the like. Not 1 cent went to a Democrat. Not one, contrary to what you're reading on the internet. You might be confused with my predecessor who spent $250,000 on Democrats in the cycle before. As a courtesy, I attended some events early in the campaign season for members of both parties, as did my predecessor.
So I can give a great political answer.
Well, they may be political, but they're true. I can fact check them. Yes,
Can
ma'am.
I sing a song? No. Speaker, I have a really burning desire to see the sonogram bill pass this session. Is that, do you really believe that that's something that can really be passed? And I think the wisdom in the crafting of that bill can be a tremendous support for life. Do you think that's something that we can do this session?
Notice you're sitting at a table with a great lady back there.
Yes.
I believe that the sonogram bill in the last session progressed pretty far.
Right.
In a closely divided House. The pro-life community asked me when I was going through the committee assignments, again in the 76-74 House, to appoint a pro-life majority to the relevant committees, State Affairs and Calendars, and I did that, including had to find some pro-life Democrats to put on those committees to make it work. So, not to be one to dictate what the members want to move in terms of legislation. I know some bills along the sonogram bill from last session have been pre-filed, and I see no reason why that legislation wouldn't progress more rapidly now under one Republicans. I think you're going to see conservative legislation, obviously, move more quickly